So very good morning, good afternoon to one and all. Respected resource person for this afternoon session, Professor Dr. Madhuri Sunil Deshpande ma'am has joined the cloud meeting. So on behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar, I welcome Deshpande ma'am. Her academic qualification is BSc MBA Marketing MCom. She is professor and head Department of Management School of Commerce and Management of SRT University, Nanded. She has a vast teaching experience of 22 years, has also worked as a management consultant in Durga Wave Private Limited. Also has a vast research experience. Under her able guidance, 6 students were awarded PhD and 5 in management and 1 in commerce. And 4 students have been awarded MPhil. She has also successfully guided students for their projects. Then publication, she has done 34. She has presented 45 research papers in various national and international conference. Also, she has holding in a position of additional charge of finance account officer of SRTM University, then head Department of Management Science. Uh, Also, she has examination work, worked as a referee and coordinator of co-curricular activities. And also, she has delivered talk in refresher and orientation courses. So on behalf of Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, again, I welcome her and I would now hand over the session to Madhuri Deshpande ma'am. Over to you.
Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Thanks, organizers, for inviting me for this session dealing with the fundamentals of research. It's nice being in interaction with teachers who belong to different backgrounds and who are from different disciplines and who are having a vast experience, academic as well as research, again, industrial also. So definitely, this session is going to be very much meaningful and interesting for all of us with good interaction. Well, I take it as an opportunity for again relooking at various conceptions, various techniques, tools, methodologies, and again try to refresh the memory regarding what exactly are the basics of research and in what manner the relationship of teaching with research, it would be made more and more meaningful and fruitful. Well, friends, dealing with this research work, that is again very much enlightening and refreshing kind of experience. Number of conveniences and number of just matters of interest we deal with in pursuit of this research. I mean, every teacher deals with at least some level of research, even if it is the beginning of the career. Most of the times, for the sake of pursuing research degree, the research is initiated. But of course, for the sake of teaching also, whenever you want to be perfect, whenever you want to give justice, a comprehensive kind of coverage, dealing with all the aspects of the teaching topics, then in that situation also, a vast amount of research is a must. In absence of that, one may not develop the confidence that I know the area and I can deliver it so as to benefit my students. So research is everywhere. It is a part of day-to-day life. Let it be any trivial decision or action to be taken. In absence of research, definitely, it would not be effective and meaningful. And one would not be getting the pleasure of doing the best. So research, I believe that it is an inherent part of our day-to-day lives. not to talk about any career goal as such, or not to talk about a specific kind of situation as such. Research is, there are various aspects regarding motivation to research. Sometimes one is interested in pursuing a research degree, and that's why one begins the research endeavor for the sake of desire to get a research degree, along with various consequential benefits, maybe with reference to career advancement scheme, maybe with reference to hike in the salary package, and like that. Maybe some of us, they are motivated with a desire to face challenges in solving the unsolved problems. Some practical problems are there, and one is motivated to attempt find out a solution for the sake of that problem. In that situation, research is a must, so that some kind of research is initiated, and with that, we hope of getting an effective solution for the problem. Sometimes, only for the sake of getting sheer pleasure of intellectual kind of joy of doing some creative work, only for the sake of getting that intellectual joy, many of the times individuals, they pursue research. Some researcher, they are motivated to be of service to society. They want to contribute to the society in a very significant kind of manner, and they consider research as one of the approaches to do that. There is a motivation among some people to stand out in the crowd, to be a respectable person of the society. With that objective also, many of the times, a desire to get respectability, that might be the trigger for indulging in the research work. Sometimes there are some directives of the government for the sake of pursuing research. Sometimes some employment conditions, they dictate engaging in research. Some people, they are very curious by their nature. They are very much inquisitive. And because of that, regarding the curiosity about new things, they wish to engage in research. Sometimes there is a need for understanding some causal relationships, finding out what is the cause, what are the effects, what is responsible for causing this kind of situation. And for the sake of having a better understanding of such kind of causal relationships, research is a must. Sometimes there is a social thinking awakening, and because of that, so as to fulfill the social initiative, so as to contribute in that, some people, they are motivated to go for research. Now we understand there is a tremendous role of research as far as the national development is concerned. I mean, number of aspects are there, but within that, in absence of research, scientific advancement, technological development, they would not be coming, they would not be observed. So, for the sake of bringing out some technological breakthroughs, research, that is mandatory, no option for that. Technological development also requires a vast and comprehensive kind of research, and then only we can observe some kind of scientific advancements. Economic progress, that is facilitated and speeded up. Basically, it gets momentum only with research. When you are motivated to bring out a concrete improvement in the quality of life, you want to increase your standard of living of the society as a whole. Research, that is a very meaningful kind of technique and weapon available to do that. Research contributes for enhancement of competitiveness of a country. it drives innovation. And basically, in a large manner, it is responsible for creation of jobs. So, number of such kinds of objectives you can be able to achieve with reference to research initiatives. And basically with that, one has to understand the dynamics of research. Number of issues they are concerned with understanding the different conceptions and dimensions of research, and then only you can be able to give justice for your role as a researcher. Research, basically, let us try to know more and more about the term research, about the process research, about the technique of research, and about different dimensions of this research. Let us begin simply by understanding various connotations with reference to the term research. Research basically, that is a search for knowledge. It is a systematic and scientific search for pertinent information on a specific topic. Although we call it as a science, although we call it as a scientific and systematic approach, but the beauty of science lies in understanding, in just apprehending the meaning, in trying to just understanding the meaning of research as an art of scientific investigation. Specifically, whenever we are dealing with social research, social science research, definitely we have to understand the art component, the artistic application of scientific knowledge, we can say. Basically, pursuing research means a journey, a movement from the known to the unknown. Whatever you know may not be fully, a little. With that, you are trying just to begin with your journey towards understanding the unknown. You want to give more and more meaning for whatever already you are aware about. Various different dimensions which have not been explored until yet. We hope to explore that with the help of research. Basically, it is a voyage of discovery. You want to discover some meaningful kind of just solutions, meaningful kind of conceptions, theories, principles, laws, different aspects of the phenomena related with life. And that is why research is pursued. Everyone amongst us possesses the natural instinct of inquisitiveness. We are curious by nature. That is a natural kind of just characteristics being allotted to us. When we confront any unknown kind of thing, we wonder. And our curiosity drives us to probe further and attain full understanding of whatever is unknown. This is a natural urge. Whatever is new, whatever is strange, whatever is unknown, whatever you are seeing for the first time, definitely you develop an urge to know more and more about the new, unexplored kind of aspect or phenomena. This inquisitiveness, it is said to be the mother of knowledge. And this curiosity drives us to pursue a method. And by employing this method, we obtain the knowledge regarding the unknown. And basically, this methodology, that is labeled as research. Now, number of beautiful definitions we observe, which throws light on various attributes of the term research. There are various angles and various perspectives through which we can know more and more about the term research. It is a point of view. Research is a point of view. Of course, there is a basis. There is a logical reasoning. There is a scientific kind of just backing for that point of view. It is not subjective, it is objective. Universality, generalization, these are the important dimensions dealing with this point of view. It can be said to be an attitude of inquiry. You want to inquire into something which is very much new, which is unknown. So, unless and until researchers possess this attitude of inquiry, they will not be successful in research. It can be said to be a frame of mind. Our mind thinks, explores things in such a manner that we get more and more information, we get a deep insight into the phenomena or into the situation. Now, this researcher asks some questions which until now they have not been answered. They want to answer the questions which remain unanswered yet. They seek to achieve the answer with the help of a fairly definite, systematic, scientific, and objective procedure. So research, although we call it as a frame of mind, although we call it as a point of view, basically a process approach that is very much effective for being a good researcher. Let us try to explore different steps of this research process. Let us try to approach different tenets associated with the word research. Research means not only theorizing, but it is an attempt. It is a very sincere and serious attempt to elicit facts and to face them once they have been assembled. You collect different bits of information, you bring different data associated with that particular area under consideration, under question, and you want to develop some kind of meaning with whatever facts until now you have collected. You collect the facts, you collect data, you examine the relationships, networks which have been developed among these various facts, and on the basis of that, you want to develop a theory which might be universally generalized. Whatever data you have just assembled, you wish to give a deep meaning which would be of help to the mankind, which would be advancing technology, which would be advancing the nation as a whole. Researcher indicates a readiness to accept the conclusions to which an inquiry leads. The conclusions may be unwelcome, but anyhow, once you develop some kind of understanding in a systematic and scientific manner, you are trying to validate it. Once it is validated, although it may not be desirable, you accept that as a truth. When you are successful in your effort, the researcher gets the pleasure of adding to the scientific knowledge of the subject. Whatever discipline you are engaged in, you get the pleasure of making a contribution for the body of knowledge. Now, in some dictionary, you'll find meaning of research as a careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search for new facts in any branch of knowledge. Basically, it is a systematized effort to gain new knowledge. Now, if you examine 5, 10, 20, or more than that definitions, a perfect understanding about the dynamics of research, it gets developed. Someone talks about research as comprising of defining and redefining problems. That is the beginning. Define the problem, try to redefine it until you are happy with the problem definition. Then, in the light of problem definition, in the light of whatever information you can be able to seek regarding that area, you formulate hypotheses or suggested solutions. Then you collect data, you organize the data, you evaluate data, and then you make deductions, and on that basis, you reach at conclusions. And at the end, you carefully test whatever conclusions you have arrived at so as to determine whether they fit the formulating hypothesis or not. Your journey has begun with definition of the problem, then you formulate the hypothesis, and the research, all the other steps of the research process, they indicate with what assumptions you began your journey, whether they are right or wrong, or some modifications are they required. So this is how, on the basis of your limited understanding at the beginning, you make certain solutions, you make certain assumptions, and rest of the steps of research, they are spent in testing the hypothesis and arriving at a definite kind of meaning. Now again, one more definition I would like to bring in from just to put in front of you, which says that research is manipulation of things, concepts, or symbols for the purpose of generalizing to extend, correct, or verify knowledge, whether that knowledge aids in construction of theory or in the practice of an art. Now again, this is one more beautiful view of looking at the term research. It is manipulation of things, concepts, symbols, because you are motivated to go for some kind of universal kind of theory, some universal kind of just assumptions. And on that basis, you are extending knowledge. Sometimes you are correcting knowledge, and sometimes you are trying to verify it. So this entire journey that is labeled as research. So research basically it gives an original contribution to the existing body of knowledge, and it leads to the advancement of knowledge. The discipline advances with more and more research, with more and more efforts of the researchers for exploring the unexplored. So definite contribution researcher they are supposed to make to the existing body of knowledge. It is said to be the pursuit of truth with the help of study, observation, comparison, and experiment. Now, all these 4 steps, they are very much important. In case you want to learn more and more about the term research, in a single sentence, with the help of only 4 words, you can be able to get a fairly good idea regarding the research dynamics. First, you are required to study. We understand whenever we go for registration of the PhD topic, or maybe in case you want to pursue a research project and you want to find out the title, literature review, that is a very significant kind of step. Defining problem, many of the times some researcher, they have some insight into the problem, so they are in a position to define the problem. But some researchers, they may not be having that kind of clarity. So what they do is they go for whatever literature is available. Regarding their area of interest, they read more and more. Various research theses, various books, various journals, research papers. They read a lot. They try to understand a meaning. They try to understand whatever has been proved. They try to understand which areas still they have not been touched. And with that study, they may be in a position to find out the area in which they can begin their journey of contribution to the body of knowledge. So research, it begins with study. After making a deep study regarding the phenomena under consideration, you are required to go for observation. Observation of whatever has been done by others until yet. Observation of the results of this study. Observation regarding outcome, the impact of the outcome. Number of different aspects are there for observation. On that basis, comparison is made, and then after comparison, you get some insight regarding what kind of variables they might be correlated, they might be associated with each other, and on that basis, you are ready for the sake of developing a model for study, so as to validate whatever assumptions you have made regarding the area, research area under study. So this is how you want to pursue truth with the help of study, observation, comparison, and experimentation. Research is a search for knowledge. How? Through objective and systematic method of finding solution to a problem. Now, this line indicates existence of a problem and then a desire to find out a solution to the problem. Either the problem is existing, or maybe you are trying to anticipate future problem, find out the solution, and avoid occurrence of the problem in the future. Whatever it is, you are adopting an objective and systematic method. It is objective, it is not subjective. It is scientific, without any prejudice, without any influence, without any personal whims and fancies. So this objectiveness, scientific nature, and systematic kind of aspect of the research process, so that has to be highlighted. It is a systematic approach concerning generalization and formulation of a theory. Why this journey has to be systematic, objective, and scientific? Because ultimately you want to formulate a theory. formulation of a theory is not enough. After formulation of a theory, you are interested in generalization of that theory. That theory has to be universally applicable. All others with you and around you, they should be benefited out of whatever efforts you have made for the sake of your research. So this is how research is a systematic approach concerning generalization and formulation of a theory. It is a systematic method consisting of enunciating the problem, formulating a hypothesis, collecting the facts or data, then analyzing the facts, and reaching certain conclusions in the form of solutions toward the concerned problem or some generalizations for the theoretical formulation. So this is how you are required to understand different aspects associated with the word research. Let us see what are the objectives of research. Research basically is directed to discover answers to the questions with an application of scientific procedures. You are adopting scientific procedures, you are adopting some systematic techniques, you are making the use of some tools, some methodology, and with that, you are trying to find out solutions to the problems. So, objective of research might be to discover answers to the problems, answer to the questions being posed. Main aim of research, that is to find out the truth that is hidden, that is not very much clear until yet, and which has not been discovered by anyone until yet. For the first time, you are doing that. Such kind of virgin area you are required to just find out. Now again, there are various dimensions through which you can be able to throw light on objectives of research. Such as sometimes it is said that objective of research is to gain familiarity with a phenomena or achieve a deep insight into the phenomena. Whenever we are having such objective of developing some kind of understanding with a phenomena or achieve a new insight into that, such kind of studies, they are called as exploratory studies or formulative research studies. Because for the first time, you are venturing into that. No one until yet has been able to do that. This is exploratory research. For the first time, you are trying to touch a virgin area. Or otherwise, objective of research might be to portray accurately the characteristics of a particular individual or a specific situation or maybe a group. So when you are motivated to portray such kinds of characteristics, this kind of research, it is called as descriptive studies. Descriptive studies, as the name indicates, they are about describing a phenomena, a situation, an individual, or any group as such. Different characteristics, they are supposed to be depicted out of this journey. Another kind of objective which is associated with diagnostic research studies, it can be put up as to determine the frequency with which something occurs or with which it is associated with something else. Whenever you are having such kinds of objective of determining the frequency with which some phenomena takes place, this study is indicated as diagnostic research study. Then there are again some studies which are mentioned as hypothesis testing research studies, in which obviously the objective is to test a hypothesis of a causal relationship between variables. Different variables, they are attached with the situation, and you are interested in understanding relationship amongst various variables with reference to a particular hypothesis. So this is in effect hypothesis testing research study. Again, as I said, there are various ways through which you can appreciate the objective of this study. Like there are theoretical objectives, there is a factual objective, and there is application objective. Now, this is one more approach through which you can get a deeper insight into the dynamics of research. Let us see how to pursue it. Researchers who are having the objective of formulation of new theories, new principles, new laws, we can say that they are having theoretical objective. This type of research, as we have seen, that is called as exploratory research, because it establishes, explains relationship of certain variables. And this kind of exploratory research contributes some basic knowledge to the humankind. Then there is factual objective. Factual objective indicates to find out new facts. Factual objective means the researchers, they wish to bring out new facts. This research is sort of descriptive research. Whenever you are trying to bring out new facts, it is of descriptive nature. So the researchers, they describe facts or events or happenings as they happened previously. This type of research is done in history. Whatever has happened, try to know about that and put it in your own words for the benefit of the others, whatever you have understood. This is the factual objective. Then application objective. Application means improvement and modification in the practice. Research having application objective, it doesn't contribute any knowledge. It doesn't add to the body of human knowledge. On the other hand, it is suggestive of new applications. New solutions, they are provided. So this is how the objective of research might be theoretical, it might be factual, or it might be application oriented. We have seen motivation of research. We have explored some areas with reference to role of research, like in absence of research, it may not be possible to go for scientific advancement. In absence of research, it's difficult to think about technological development. Economic progress, improvement in standard of living, and adding some spice to the quality of life, it's very much difficult, or otherwise we can say that it's not possible. In case you are interested in enhancing competitiveness of your country, in case you want to drive innovation, research is mandatory. Research is very much compulsory for creation of jobs, for the sake of achieving prosperity and like that. So this is how we have seen what is the significance of research. In day-to-day life also, we observe several things of value, several things which we use, several products, services, which we use in our day-to-day life, several technologies, techniques, which we adopt for our purposes, several things of pleasure. They would never have seen light of the day in absence of research. In absence of relentless efforts of the researchers, it may not have been possible for us to go for such kinds of pleasures of life, such kind of conveniences. Never they would have been materialized in actual reality in absence of research. So this is how we have understood, we are very much convinced that research, definitely it has to be pursued by everyone in the society. Formally, informally, consciously, maybe at your subconscious level. Maybe with reference to a time-bound kind of just nature, or maybe just as we say in terms of teaching, a teacher is a student forever. Always there are various moments in which tremendous kind of learning that is seen. Every now and then we see number of learning opportunities in our day-to-day life. There is no end to learning. No barrier of language, no barrier of age, no barrier of background, caste, culture, religion, nothing like that. On similar lines, we have to appreciate the pervasiveness of this research activity. Whatever it is, maybe seeking admission to a college or an university, maybe finding out a good job, maybe making a purchase, maybe making an investment plan. Whatever activity you are pursuing, whatever objective you are setting, definitely you will understand that in absence of research, good decisions never they can be made. Meaningful actions never they can be performed in absence of research. So definitely, it is very much essential for all of us to know more and more about the fundamentals of research. And then only a particular kind of meaning it can be attached for the sake of making this process more and more meaningful, more and more effective, and more enjoyment. Sometimes research is taken as some kind of burden. Whenever someone is imposing on you, you feel that someone is dominating me, someone is imposing me to pursue research, then you take it as a load. Like whenever we make a plan in the beginning of the academic year, there is a planning regarding which courses they would be allotted to which teachers for which classes. And we call that workload distribution. See the word load, workload. Some negative connotation is there. It is a thing of pleasure. I'm a teacher. When I'm a teacher, on my own, I chose this profession. So how that activity can be termed and labeled as a load for me? Because I'm very much interested in finding out to which students I have to interact this semester, which courses I'm required to share with them. So this is same thing applies as teaching load. Same thing is applying for research also. For the sake of our academic performance indicators, for the sake of our promotions and all that, we are required to make research publications and like that. The moment at which we find that it is mandatorily, it has to be done, some unwillingness, some hesitation is there. Instead of that, on our own, we are picking up that activity at our own sweet will, on my own, voluntarily. I'm into that. Then that process becomes very much beautiful and enjoyable. Because very truly, I believe that destination is important, but the journey to reach the destination, that has to be made more and more enjoyable. Each step, it has to be enjoyed. Each step is important. It is not just duty which I must perform. It is a task which I initiated on my own and with pleasure, with enjoyment. I am required to pursue that. So basically, approach matters a lot. So whenever on my own, I feel like doing that, that makes my journey very much beautiful and enjoyable. So this is how try to understand, try to appreciate more and more characteristics of research. Now with this national education policy, again, we are required to appreciate that when national education policy, it was declared, and when a decision was made to make it operational in this academic year. So definitely now the complete control of this national education system is with teachers. The committee member, the administrators, all the decision makers, all the respectable decision makers under the leadership of Honorable Kasturi Ranganji. So they explored a lot regarding our ancient Gurukul system. They explored a lot regarding our ancient education system. In those golden days, in those of ancient India, number of stars were performing their best. They were just giving their best to the world. Take any discipline, maybe astronomy, maybe metallurgy, maybe yoga, maybe music, maybe economics, maybe foreign trade. You'll find that number of stalwarts, they were shining at their best in this galaxy of scholars. Number of names are there: Gargi, Maitreyi, Sushrut, then again Bhaskaracharya, Sushrut. Number of new names. And they were having new discoveries, new innovations, new inventions, which were accepted by scholars all over this world. And the credit of these scholars in the ancient India, primarily it was attributed to our ancient education system. Later on, in those good old days, literally there was 100% literacy. When British came to the situation and they enacted the first Education Act, at that time, there was a very good position with reference to our societal literacy and vibrant kind of environment. After decades after, whenever our country became independent, at that time, there was very poor level of literacy because deliberately the foreigners, they destroyed our education system. They destroyed training of minds because they wanted to produce only mechanical working people, and never they encourage originality of ideas. Never they explored holistic development of the personality. They wanted to destroy all the resources along with human resources also. And basically, with this National Education Policy, NEP 2020, again, we are trying to get again that flavor of our ancient education system with that noble objective, with tremendous kinds of inputs from all cross sections of the society. A complete restructuring of the curriculum of the education system, it was observed. Now it is in our hands, we teachers, to give it a full justice for implementation of various innovative and effective features they have been developed by the decision makers. We are the implementers at the root level, and we are there so as to make it a sincere attempt for the sake of true spirit of our own ancient education system, revival of our Gurukul system. Revival, when I say revival, I don't intend that education system, I don't intend to say that education, our ancient Gurukul system was completely being destroyed. It is not like that. Some deterioration was there with reference to number, with reference to spread. But anyhow, still now, thousands of Gurukuls, they are working at their best at this moment also. And several institutions like Bharatiya Education System, they are making their efforts for the sake of reviving the Gurukul system, and they are just developing their effort through a research project, Bharatiya Shikshan Mandal. They are doing their best for the sake of giving justice for such kinds of methodologies which gave success at one point in time. And with that, teaching and research, the interconnectedness, the interdependencies, in case we are able to appreciate, definitely it would be our true contribution for the growth of the nation. We are required to appreciate whatever has been experimented with success over a number of years in our country. So definitely we are required to bring it back to the situation and give it our 100% for the sake of development of holistic personality of the students. Making the livelihood, that is not the only aim of education. That is only a part of that. Development of a holistic individual with multiple intelligence. Development of not only the intelligence, along with that, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, adversary, working on adversary quotient, thinking about spiritual dimension of the personality. So all such social dimension of that. So when we are trying to shape our students, so definitely it is not our duty only to share knowledge, only to convey the syllabus. We are required to appreciate our own students, their background, their grasping level, their learnability. We are required to just put in front of them several goals, several ambitions. We are required to make them just verbalize their ambitions, their goals, their dreams. And with that, role of a teacher is to go for integrated development of the personality, along with sharing of knowledge, development of some skills which are related with knowledge component, and above that, training the mindset making an attitudinal change among the students with reference to economic development as well as national development objectives reflect the educational initiatives in the behavior of the students, make some kind of drastic change in their mindset, in their thinking pattern, to widen the windows through which students they glance at the world. So this is how different objectives we teachers, we are required to give attention to, and that too with customization, because all the students, they cannot be treated in the similar manner. Perception of everyone is different. Personality of everyone is very unique. Their grasping level is different. Their learnability is different. Their ambitions are different. The situation or the context in which they operate, that is varied. So understanding all these, that requires personality of a researcher. So definitely a teacher is required to be a researcher. Because a teacher is not only concerned with finishing the syllabus, conducting the examination, evaluating the examination papers, and be happy with a good result. It is only part of all the aspects of the duties of a teacher. So a research is required for understanding what is good for each of my student. Understanding the students, observing them, studying them individually, and finding out what is good for them. What kind of change I should bring in my teaching learning style? What kind of change I should bring in my communication style so that my student, they would be benefited? What is required by them? So research is limited not only to the extent of, we should not limit research only for the sake of making good syllabus. For making a good syllabus, research is required. For the sake of good syllabus, you are required to interact with various stakeholders like other state-of-the-art institutes. You have to study the requirement, you have to study the market, you have to just interact with the employers, you have to interact with the industry, you have to interact with the parents, you have to talk with the students. And when you are just having feedback from all these stakeholders, then you understand what is the meaning of good syllabus, what kind of changes they must be incorporated, how frequently, to what extent, in what manner. A research is required for that. Again, when you are talking about transformation of the student's personality, then again a research is required. Find out where they are at this moment. Then on your own, you are required to decide you can take them to what level. In case they are at 0, you can take them to 1, 2, 3. In case they are at 3, you can take them to the next higher level, 4, 5, 6. But a research is required for understanding their existing level of their knowledge, of their background, of their mindset, of their ambition, of their willingness, readiness to accept change, and like that. And then you have to decide at your own level, having a talk with employers, having a talk with their parents, having a talk with them, You have to decide to what level you can pick them up. How to traverse the journey, you have to take them from A to Z, we can say. So from A to Z, how many steps are there? How you are just traversing the journey? What is your role in that? What kind of support system you can suggest to them? What kind of support system you can build for them? For all these decisions, what is required is research. I do understand the difficulties of doing that. I have been doing that from several different years together. At one point in time, I was only in the role of a teacher. At some point in time, again, I was in the role of paper setter. Slowly, I was in the role of paper examiner, paper evaluator. Then, at some point in time, project report evaluation, it was added to the task. At other level, being a committee member of different meaningful committees like research recognition committee, like research allocation committee, like board of studies, syllabus framing committee. Now all these new and new tasks, they are added to the role of a teacher. And with that, there is an interaction with new level of task, new areas of the curriculum. At some point in time, I was only like you in the beginning of the career. I was in the role of only a teacher, delivering whatever I am required to do in the form of syllabus with an eye on examination, with some expectation about the results. I used to give I used to give justice to the task only as a teacher, in the role of only a communicator. Slowly, as I said, when I became a member of the board of studies, I was in the I had the decision-making capacity of what kind of syllabus has to be framed, to whom I am required to involve in the syllabus framing committee, which individuals they would be contributing their best, which industrialist I should involve, which other deans and experts I should involve in the committee so that a state-of-the-art, very effective kind of syllabus can be developed. At some point in time, again, as we understand, different aspects, as we, in the beginning of the career, when we get the appointment letter, it is mentioned that along with your regular teaching duties, you are required to give justice whatever task your employer tells you. Let it be syllabus framing, let it be examination work, let it be a work of project report guidance or project report examination. Now, with that, at some point in time, I was in the role of a finance and accounts officer. Again, as a teacher, I accepted when I was asked about that kind of additional charge of finance and accounts officer. I only thought from the view of a teacher. I said, I'm a management teacher. When I joined my duty as a teacher, before that, I had a stint with experience of a management consultant. I had a good experience as a management consultant with a good brand. So at that time, I was fully equipped with industrial knowledge so as to give justice to my task as a management teacher. But what happened over a number of years? When I joined, I had the up-to-date knowledge. I had an interaction with the industry. I had a fresh industrial experience of 5 to 6 years. But slowly as years went by, I got the feeling that no, I lost touch with the industry. By means of only industry visits, by means of only attending seminars and symposia with reference to industry institute interaction, it was not enough for me. Because as a management teacher, unless and until I am having a field experience, how I can be able to give that kind of feel of real life business world to my students? It is being like having an injustice with my role as a teacher. So I had that kind of feeling. And with that, whenever there was an offer of accepting this finance and accounts officer task, I readily accepted that because I thought at my own campus, in case I'm getting that opportunity to have an industrial exposure of having some kind of corporate kind of experience of management practice, top management practice. So definitely I should snatch that kind of, I should get that opportunity for the sake of enriching a teacher within me. And with that, definitely, I also was benefited because it was a good learning. Whatever I used to share with my student through experiences of other management practitioners. So I had now my own experience to share with them. Whatever is the reality, it was very easy for me now to share with them. So this is how, dear friends, whenever you are coming across, now same case regarding accepting the responsibility as a NEP peer team member. Whenever I used to get that kind of experience, now I used to visit new institutions, new universities, and used to find out what kind of work they are performing with reference to teaching, what kind of new practices they are adopting for the sake of spreading a research culture in their institute. How are their students like mine or more smart, more knowledgeable, more active? What is the reason in case something is superior? I found that in some way they are superior. What exactly is it that made them superior in comparison with my students? How they are setting the standards? What kind of practices they are adopting for the sake of industry exposure? So this is how whenever you are visiting different institutes of different states, it is a great learning, tremendous learning is there. You can share with them your own best practices as well. You can learn from their best practices and adopt those best practices as per your convenience in our own campus. So this is how whenever a teacher accepts a new responsibility, visits a new place, interacts with a new member, definitely it helps a lot for the students. It helps a lot for the parent institute. So for that angle, no, the same thing was applicable when I accepted the responsibility as a pro vice chancellor. Same thing I observed that many new dimensions which I was thinking how they are not being implemented or what might be just uh, coming in the way of taking such kind of decisions. Then when I sat in the chair, I observed that what can be done and how a betterment is possible whenever you are having autonomy, when you are having decision-making power in your hands. Definitely, such kind of interactions, such kinds of observations, such kind of experiences, they are very, very essential for a teacher. There is a need to come out of the four walls of the classroom within the boundaries of the institute, go out in the open area and find out what else can be done. What are the best world-class practices and which of these you can be able to adopt for your own betterment? So this is how whenever you are taking the task of writing a book, writing a research paper. Whatever happens in between, whatever research you do, whatever efforts you perform, whatever discussions you enter into, whatever communications you initiate, each aspect deals with research in one way or the other. There are different levels of research. There are different levels of data. We understand sometimes only with secondary data, only with published material, the problem is solved. Sometimes your problem is so unique, it is so new that with the help of past data, with the help of previous experience, it is not being solved. In that situation, you had to project your own experience, you had to imagine proactively at your own level on the basis of whatever exposure you had. And you are required to find out a new solution. Whatever is there, as I said, how many experiences, how many duties you perform, how many experiences you are taking, how many places you visit, which kind of individuals you interact. These are all research opportunities, and a teacher should never hesitate to accept such kinds of research opportunities and broaden the just horizons, and thereby be able to do the best for the sake of nurturing the personality of holistic individuals, integrated personality of the student that is required to be developed. Unless and until you are having networking with experts, professionals, consultants all over at least all over the state, at maybe at national level, maybe at international level, how you can be able to provide that kind of experience to your students? A teacher amongst you will never be perfect unless and until you are meeting with such kinds of experiences, events, as well as individuals. So a teacher, whatever objective he or she is having regarding perfection, regarding excellence, as I said, number of such kinds of research opportunities, they are required to be grabbed. They are required to be created. They are required to be utilized. And then only the teaching learning process, it would be meaningful, fruitful, and very, very effective. Otherwise, all alone, within the boundaries of your institute, within the boundaries of your classroom, you are trying to deliver the content, you are trying to shape the personality of the students. There are bound to be several limitations. But the moment at which you understand, because whatever is there among the teachers, by observing teachers, they would be learning from the teachers. In case something is missing in a teacher, definitely students, never they would be having that kind of opportunity to learn from that teacher. Other teachers, they might be there, but at least some lacuna would be there with a specific kind of teacher. So excellent practices of other institutes, of other professionals, definitely we are required to study, we are required to observe, we are required to compare, and we are required to just measure. And then only with such kinds of research initiatives, definitely a good learning environment, it would be created. Definitely with such kinds of initiatives at various different frequent levels, consistent way, in case you are making, then we can say that I'm giving complete justice to my role as a teacher. So I think the first part of the presentation, which I wanted to convey with you, that is over. Now, before taking a break in between the two sessions, what I expect is your views, how uh, you took whatever ideas I put in front of you, whether you agree with me or some disagreement is there. In case I miss something, very well, I expect that you would be bringing to my attention those points which have been not touched in this first session. So in the MMTC pattern also, what is indicated is in a 90-minute session, 60-minute the communicator will begin, and the remaining 30 minutes, they are specifically meant for an open house discussion. So I'm very much curious to know from you, whatever are your ideas regarding whatever points I shared with you. So I'm expecting some questions. I'm expecting some additions to whatever sharing I had, or some comments, responses, reactions. So accordingly, in the next session, I would be taking care of whatever feedback you are giving me. Thank you, Vrunda ma'am. You have said that very nice session, evoking towards research and duties of teacher in a broad manner. Thank you for your good words. Arun sir is also saying that nice session, useful and knowledge information. Did I miss something? Did you do you want to make some kind of addition regarding my ideas regarding the duties of teacher with reference to this dynamics of research? Roll number 9 is saying very insight, Revati. Revati ma'am is saying very insightful session. Thank you, Revati ma'am. So maybe we'll have a tea break. Abhijit sir is saying very much motivating session, which taught me the importance of research work in teacher's career. Thank you. Because my own experiences I shared with you, really whatever touched me. So that I shared with you. Sushma ma'am is saying very informative session. Indrajit sir saying, I sincerely thank you for delivering such an insightful and engaging talk on research, your deep knowledge, clear explanation, and practical examples made the session both informative and thought-provoking. Thank you, sir, for your nice words. Well, we'll have a tea break. So with refresh kind of mood, again, we'll meet after 10 to 15 minutes for the next session, in which I would like to talk about characteristics of research. Along with that, I would like to talk about the research process, few issues regarding research ethics and plagiarism, few issues regarding that. And thereafter, I would like to share with you few aspects of AI with reference to research. And definitely at the end, I would like to uh, learn from you regarding your own ideas with reference to this research dynamics. Thank you, Padgan sir. He is saying that ज्ञान प्रतिपादन शैली छान आहे. छान वाटलं सर वाचून. ब्रेक घेऊयात मग. एक 15 मिनिटांचा ब्रेक घेऊत आणि पुन्हा भेटूया. ओके. Shall we continue? Okay. If possible, please keep your video open so that uh, instead of talking with black squares, it would be far more enjoyable in case I'm looking at someone who is with me. Well, let us deal with characteristics of research. Let us try to know more and more about this research dynamics so that uh, more and more features we can be able to imbibe in our day-to-day routine and in our thinking pattern. Thank you, Madhuri ma'am. Nice being with you. Uh, at the base of the research is a sound philosophy. Sound philosophy as well as some kind of common sense, it has to be invoked so that the scientific procedure of research, it would be helpful for us and it would be continued for the sake of fulfilling the research objectives. I worked on women entrepreneurship from Marathwada region, a study of women entrepreneurship in Marathwada region. That was the title of my PhD thesis. Basically, when I wanted to study women entrepreneurship, at the base of it, some kind of assumptions and some kind of philosophy uh, I dealt with. Right from the definition, now several conceptions, they are required to be developed, revised, and redefined. Several parameters and the framework, it has to be visualized and it has to be made clear before dealing with the further procedures. Now we'll be dealing with research process also. We'll be knowing about scientific nature of the research process also. But before going further, let me share with you few essentials which talk about the actual decisions to be taken while pursuing a research area. Near about in 1996, I started my work on women entrepreneurship. Very few studies they were conducted by then. So I referred several aspects, several studies, and within that, I tried to find out what kind of definition they had regarding women entrepreneurship. I examined several different definitions and I said that I had to frame my own definition because I didn't agree with them regarding who is a woman entrepreneur. So for my own purposes, I developed my own definition of woman who is deviating from her no, sole and the only role of nurser, carer, and rearer, and who is actually engaged in initiating, managing, and operating an enterprise on her own, and who is getting an attractive returns out of such kinds of entrepreneurial activities. This is how I defined a woman entrepreneur for my own purposes. But actually, when I got the list of women entrepreneurs from several government institutes and I got the list from several of my acquaintances, I found that this definition is not helpful for me to pick up which respondent I should include in my study. So for that reason, I had to develop an operation. I had to define an operational definition of women entrepreneur, in which I said for my work, a woman entrepreneur is one who is the first generation woman entrepreneur, and who is then again, initially I developed, I don't remember all the details, but anyhow, I would be telling you the basic dynamics of it. Like initially, I was novice, so I didn't know what is the reality. So on the basis of whatever books I referred and whatever just experiences and interactions I had, on that basis, I set some investment limits of women entrepreneurs, like in terms of investment, in terms of turnover, in terms of employment of manpower, and like that. And when actually I went in the field and actually I started meeting them, then I realized that it was so foolish of me to think like that, just like sitting in the ivory towers. I was just planning my work. It was just like that. So then again, I revised my operational definition, and accordingly, I indicated that this is how I'm going to work. The only requirement was she last 3 years she should be in business. She must have pursued her business from last 3 years, and accordingly, some kind of just betterment in terms of turnover, profitability, manpower employment, it must have been taken place. That was the another condition which I left there. Some betterment, not in terms of limit investment and profitability as such. That's what I indicated. And then I started my work. Then again, for the sake of categorization, manufacturing, trading, and service industry, this was how previous studies, they were analyzing women entrepreneurship on these dimensions. But then I found that some women, they were professionals like architects, like doctors, like CAs, and they were independently, they were managing their businesses. They set up their enterprises on their own, and they were getting good returns out of those activities. And all the managerial functions, all the entrepreneurial functions of risk taking, planning, organizing, employing, staffing, coordinating, controlling, they were performing. So I included that fourth aspect of professionals also in categorizing women entrepreneurs. I mean, I wish to indicate that definite thinking and a definite basis is required for the sake of making your decisions, making your research plan, developing your research design, and proceeding further in that direction. Like that, manufacturing, trading, service, and profession. This was how I categorized all those. And then I found out what is the percentage in the entire population. And accordingly, I indicated a particular percentage of each of the category. And that is how I arrived at the sample size. Then my study was belonging to the region of Marathwada, all the 8 districts. The newly made Hingoli district also, it was included separately. So within that, again, I had to, sorry, I had to decide uh, in what manner the work has to be pursued. Now, several different dimensions are there dealing with that, like questionnaire construction. Questionnaire was required. Normally, the medium of instruction commonly was English. So definitely I was tempted to prepare my questionnaire because it was habituated to think in English and to write in English. So accordingly, I prepared that in English. But later on, I had to convert that in Marathi and Hindi for practical purposes. But thereafter, when I used to meet them, I found that some kind of communication gaps are there, some kind of perceptual gaps were there, some kind of inhibition was there. And that is how, instead of handing over their questionnaire, I chose to administer the questionnaire on my own by sitting with them. I got their appointment, and accordingly, I used to sit with them. I used to ask their questions, and on my own, I used to write their answers either by tick mark and open-end answers. I used to write on my own while talking with them. So this is how the basis of research, on the basis of your context, on the basis of your background, on the basis of your objectives, on the basis of your topic, you had to decide on your own. So this is how some individualized kind of decisions in the light of set norms, the conventions and the age-old practices which have been followed, not violating all those, you are required to work. Because anyhow, whatever theory you are establishing, you want to universalize that, you want to generalize that, and you want that more and more people, they should refer that, and accordingly they should benefit out of that. So with all such kinds of objectives, definitely you are required to be very, very systematic, honest. Again, you are required to be very, very systematic as well as scientific for making all such kinds of decisions and for talking about all such kinds of steps. Research is based on insight and imagination, very much. You are required to visualize the things on your own, and accordingly, you can be able to give justice. What happened when I entered in the field for collecting the information? Then they used to give information, majority of the decisions, information areas, they were sharing freely with me. But as far as finance was concerned, they were just reluctant to share all those details with me. So accordingly, I had to use it in terms of class intervals between this limit, more than that. And accordingly, this is how I had to set some limitations. And I had to convince them that this information is strictly confidential and no one other than me would be having an access to such kind of information. And then only I could get information, because we understand in case of inaccurate, incomplete, and wrong answers, in the light of all these, your research will not be useful. The entire effort, they would be wasted. So you are required to ensure that your questionnaire would be fully completed, accurately replied, and accurate answers you will be getting. There would be no don't know answer. There would be no incomplete answers. Then only you can ensure that whatever information you are gathered, you can be able to analyze that, and accordingly, you can be able to uh, get some meaningful conclusions on that basis. Basically, research requires an interdisciplinary approach. Research means not only description of various facts which are isolated, which are distorted, and which are of elementary nature. On the other hand, some complex relationships of various facts you are required to contemplate, and on that basis, some relationships, some associations, you must visualize. And in case you want to do that, there is no option but to go for interdisciplinary approach. In case just in isolation you are working, you will not be able to just give justice for your target. You will not be able to meet your target. Then deductive reasoning process, it has to be employed. It is again a major feature of the research process. The science of mind, commonly it uses methods of description, explanation, interpretation, sympathetic or intuitive understanding of the methods. These are mainly deductive and speculative in nature. Basically, in case you are using those, then only whatever results you are getting, you can put it for measurement, or you can adopt it for the sake of mathematical procedures, and then only you can be able to formulate a widely accepted theory which can be generalized, which can be communicated for the use of other areas also. Then a desire for betterment. Definitely, in absence of that desire for betterment, no research would be meaningful and useful to the society. Research definitely has to come out of a desire of betterment. In case you are going for physical sciences, pure sciences, you will find that research is exact. But anyhow, in case you are going for social science research, you will find that a discipline like management, it is one of the most inexact of the social sciences, because they deal with human behavior, they deal with human feelings, human emotions, human mentality. And then anyhow, uh, there are differences with reference to structure, there are differences with reference to behavior, thinking pattern, uh, behavior patterns. And no two human beings are ever alike. Even if they are identical twins, still then number of variations you will observe with reference to their physique, with reference to size, weight, height, color, hair, color of the eyes, hair, with reference to texture of the skin, with reference to their thinking, with reference to their interest, hobbies, attitude, aptitude. On many dimensions, tremendous differences you will find in identical twins also, not to think about people from different backgrounds with different culture and with different atmosphere as such. Some uh, mental life, social life, spiritual life, wide variation is there. So with reference to that, research, social science research, we have to understand the boundaries within which we are required to work. Then only research would be useful and it would be adopted by the others. Many times research requires inexpensive kind of material. Sometimes when you are dealing with science, then some equipment, some testing, which may be costly, you'll have to spend. But in social sciences, majority of the time, traveling expenditure is there. And some complexities of human behavior, they are experienced. Research mainly, it is based on subjectivity of the social phenomena. Physical phenomena directly you can know through senses, but social phenomena you have to understand symbolically through words. You have to make some assumption regarding tradition, custom, values, attitude. Symbolically, you have to just project whatever observation you make, and on that basis, you have to make some assumptions. But regarding physical phenomena through your senses, very well you can note and you can observe. Empirical method, again, it is helpful in several situations. In case of sciences, you can be you can adopt quantitative approach, and you can work in units, measures, and terminology. Whereas quantitative measurements, they are more uh, convenient, we can say, and they are more commonly adopted. But in case of social science, qualitative aspects, they are more observed, and quantitative statements, it's very difficult to make. So you have to appreciate the nature of your discipline and whatever studies they have been made until yet. And on that basis, you are required to develop your own philosophy. Research basically is based on interdependence of causes and effects. Number of variables are there. Some variables, they may not be connected with each other. Some variables, they may be having some kind of connection. Some proportionate relationships are there. Some disproportionate relationships are there. So you have to think about all those whenever you are pursuing research. You must be well familiar with all such characteristic features of research so that whenever your work begins, which of these facts they should be taken into consideration, you would be having a fairly good idea regarding that. So before beginning the research, you must be well equipped with all such kinds of information background. Your homework has to be perfect, and then you can begin your work. Otherwise, there would be wide gaps, and you would be frustrated in the midway that I have not given justice for these considerations, and maybe whatever efforts I made, they would be wasted, and my just timeline, it has increased tremendously. Such kinds of just disappointment you may be through. So take care of these characteristic features. Be completely aware regarding all such kinds of fundamentals, and then you can be effective as well as efficient in your approach. Basically, research is not the field of only specialist. It is not a mechanical kind of process. Research is not something that can be ground out as by a machine. Research can never be a mechanical process. Every now human element. Now, as I said, at the end of the session, I would be having a review regarding some AI, role of AI in research also. But anyhow, we have to appreciate that it is not a mechanical kind of process. Human element, human judgment, human worth. Definitely, it is having indispensable kind of role. So originality and exploration, that are the major features of the research. There is no problem worthy of study that doesn't include unknown elements and which doesn't require a fresh approach. So every now and then, this is a fresh approach which you have to adopt. Every now and then you have to deal that this some unknown elements also you have to deal with. Decision making, when you are making, always you will not be getting perfect information to make your decisions upon. Sometimes there are some dark area, there are some gray areas, there is some kind of risk, there is some kind of uncertainty. But even in the face of that, you are required to make decisions. You cannot stop your work. So that kind of technique also you are required to learn, and then only you would succeed as a researcher. That at the end of the entire exercise, you would be getting the pleasure that I did something worthwhile. I did something valuable, which others, they would be facilitated. They would be facilitated by my work. That kind of feeling, definitely one pursues research only with that kind of intention. Maybe some other objectives also are there, but basically, in case you work and others, they should pay value to that. They should appreciate that. That is the basic human urge. So as to give justice for that, you should see that this research requires a fresh approach, and with that, there is a tremendous role of originality. There is a tremendous role of exploration, because many things for the first time you are coming across. You are just giving exposure to many aspects for the first time. Nobody until yet has paid attention to that. So exploration must be your one of the objectives. Common sense, definitely, that is required in a research work. Common sense, although it is not a commonly being available in the population, but anyhow, there is again a good role of common sense in making the research related kind of decisions. Intelligence, definitely intelligence. And whenever you are dealing with some kind of issues with reference to field work, then many hassles dealing with quantitative as well as qualitative assessment of whatever data you have collected. Then you are required to appreciate not only intelligence, but emotional, generally in quantitative intelligence, emotional intelligence also. That is the major, that is the required feature with reference to this research dynamics. Teachers, they have the capacity and they have the opportunity to undertake the research. They can carry out research in day-to-day activities of the institute. maybe regarding problems of the institute, maybe with reference to matters like development of the students, organization of the class, maybe with reference to teacher-student relationship, maybe interaction with the community, extension work, curriculum matters, teaching techniques, teaching methodologies. Number of issues are there in which teachers, they can take the opportunity for pursuing the work. So what is required is common sense, what is required is intelligence, what is required is insight in a problem for pursuing good research. In the beginning, researchers, they may require some training, they may require some guidance, like we conduct for PhD students. We carry on several research methodology workshops. Several online courses, they have become mandatory, like research ethics, publication ethics, and like that. So this is how they can make, we can understand that some need of guidance as well as training. But along with that, um, there is no option to have an interaction with experts, professionals, consultants on a continuous basis at each and every stage of the research process. Guide is there, no doubt about that. But in addition to that, always, very strongly, I would recommend that at each stage of the research process, even before deciding the final topic of research, even before deciding to venture into research, even at that level also, I would just advise you that you should have a discussion, an interaction with people from different walks of life. That would give you clarity along with your family members, because family member, they are giving to be your support system in due course of time. So always it is desirable to involve them in the research process, in the research decisions. That would be giving you real pleasure and hassle-free kind of environment to work upon. Because the more you are able to engage in the research work in a peaceful and happy state of mind, so then it would be reflected in the quality of your output. So involve your family members also in various decisions, in various just discussions. So that would be adding with the quality of work life, quality of your research life. That is my suggestion to you. That is my, that means my experience with my all my endeavors. Research characteristics of research indicate some kind of explanation regarding causal relationship between various variables under study. And whatever we are observing with a clean slate, you must be able to understand whatever has been observed and how to interpret that. So unlearn, many times unlearn, many times relearn. That is the requirement. So pay attention to that. Sometimes in the stereotypes we get boggled down. Sometimes we are having some misapprehensions and we are not able to come out of that. And that becomes a major barrier for the growth and for the future. So wherever it is required, you should unlearn. Wherever it is required, you should relearn. Wherever you should refresh your memory again and again with whatever was just done at the basic primary level. So there should be no hesitation in beginning from scratch. That reflects upon the true approach of a researcher. So number of decisions are there and number of things basically I wish to share with you. So let us see. Still time is there. So trying my best to so as to share more and more aspects with you. But in my enthusiasm, in case I'm missing something or maybe I'm speeding up, kindly tell me in the chat box so that perfect level matching level would be there in between you and me. Because I'm not able to see you. Otherwise, on the basis of facial expressions, things they are much easier. to read and to understand. But uh, very enjoyably, I'm able to just observe Mathur madam, and I'm very happy that I'm talking with someone. Well, uh, what is good research? Let us learn about that. Good research is that which generates dependable data. So others also, they should learn from that. And outcome derived by professionally and scientifically conducted practices. Whatever are the standard norms, standard test, number of analysis tools they are available, number of just standard packages and softwares they are available. In case commonly accepted kind of softwares, packages, and tools you are adopting, research becomes more acceptable and more communicable for the others. So dependability of data and outcome on the basis of use of professionally and scientifically conducted practices. That is a major feature of good research. Following standards of scientific method, like systematic and empirically based procedures. So again, that is one more requirement. So what are the standard practices? What are the conventions? What are the standard and uniform norms which have been adopted by the others? Keep an eye on that. Be in touch with the others. So there is no option for discussions with the peers, discussion with the superiors, discussion with the students, the other juniors, and like that. Just continue with your talk consistently and continuously. And then you will know what is going on everywhere, and accordingly you will understand what has become outdated, what is just newly coming up, what is an emerging practice. So immediately you would be able to pick it up and be in line with the latest practices and latest trends. Now let us know few things about scientific method of research. This is very much important in the light of good research. Good research is that which is scientific, which is systematic, which is objective, which is of a standardized nature, which is following the world-class best practices. So let us see that. Purpose clearly defined. A clear definition of the objective matters a lot. Whenever you are going for literature survey, find out first who has conducted this study, with what motivation that study was conducted, and then decide whether to continue with that, just detailing that study, or stop that. Because whenever your objective is limited, whenever you are having personal objective, maybe some compromises would be there, maybe some limitations could not be have been overcome. But whenever you are just thinking about a government institute, whenever you are having a established brand being associated with that kind of work, definitely acceptability is more. Definitely belief and trust is more. So accordingly, define your purpose clearly and make it known to the readers, to the whosoever is coming across that. It establishes just some understanding regarding to whom to follow. Research process detail. Whatever decision, just now as I told you, how I define women entrepreneur, then how I develop a operational definition of a woman entrepreneur. Then whatever limitations you observe, mention it clearly so that others, they would understand what is to be avoided, what to expect in that, what is being deleted in that. Such as a simple experience I would share with you. Whenever I began my work for women entrepreneurs, I went to some government agencies like District Industry Center, DIC. I went to MIDC, Industrial Development Corporation of Maharashtra. Then I went to MSFC, it was working then, Maharashtra State Financial Corporation. Then I went to MCED, Maharashtra Center for Entrepreneurship Development, who was working with training of women entrepreneurs. So I got a list from them regarding who were the women entrepreneurs. From MSFC, I got the list of the women entrepreneurs who borrowed money from MSFC. Then MIDC, I got the list of women entrepreneurs who applied for plots, who applied for water connection, who applied for land as such. So this is how from government agencies I got the listing. And when actually I went on the field, what I observed was whatever plot number they were mentioned, nothing was in place because some benefits were there in the name of women entrepreneurs. So other family member, they were taking the advantage of that. So nothing, many times nothing was in place. I'm talking about the situation near about in 97, 98. In those days, uh, so such kind of difficulties I face. Then I thought that going through government listing makes no sense. Uh, and they were not revealing me. For few months, I was directionless. I didn't know what was happening. Address was there, name was there. Some addresses they were not found. Some addresses they were accessible. But anyhow, I was not getting proper information. Then I met some persons. I went into some talk with many, and then I realized that for the say these are the dummy entrepreneurs, they are the fake entrepreneurs, and they are not indicating me. They expect some problem, and so they are not being very much frank and honest with me. And I was misdirected. So what I did was through my acquaintances, say if I'm just going to Hingoli, so I approached someone to whom I trust. I have visited such respectable persons from that place. I asked them about some women entrepreneurs. They are giving me few names. Then I meet those entrepreneurs and I ask them names of the other entrepreneurs. So snowball method of sampling I adopted. But I clearly mentioned in my methodology that this is what I did so that other researcher they would be benefited regarding what kind of difficulties. Now, difficulties which I faced in 97, 98, they are not comparable with whatever difficulties in 2025 or 26 the researcher they would be facing. But at least they would be having some background to work. They would be having some precedence on which they would be avoiding such kinds of mistakes and such, they would be making foolproof kind of efforts. So this is how a detailed research process indicating all the limitations regarding all the difficulties which have been faced, in what situation, what decisions were taken, how the decisions were taken. So this is how everything has to be just conveyed in a standard manner to the readers. High ethical standards applied. Definitely, ethical standards, they are required to be applied. Otherwise, no one would be reading your work and there would be a bad mouth publicity that this work is not up to the mark. So definitely ethics has to be given importance. Which respondents you are approaching, whether you are keeping them anonymous or whether you are giving them some suggestion. Uh, just allow me a break of 2 minutes. Some urgent call is to be attended. Sorry. So there is a high role of ethics. Plagiarism also has to be taken care about. The dynamics of plagiarism also has to be well understood. Whatever are the present norms, which softwares are available, how they are required to be applied, what is the agreeable percentage of similarity. So all these details a researcher has to be well informed about. So wherever it is needed, some online courses, they are available, some experts, they are available for a crash courses and all that. So along with research methodology workshops, along with others, so definitely wherever we find that there is a need of updation of the skills, you must do that. Whatever limitations are there, frankly, they have to be revealed. Maybe time limitations, maybe limitations with reference to money, resource limitations, whatever are there. So very frankly, they should be indicated. Uh, Many times there is a tendency to just hide the limitations because there is a feeling that uh, value of the research might be underestimated. But it is not like that. Whenever truly or very honestly you are reflecting on your own weaknesses, definitely there is a clarity regarding what kind of procedure was adopted, and there is a more trust on your work by the researchers. Analysis adequate for decision maker needs. So research was initiated with some purpose. Maybe your client has told you to go for research. In that situation, see to it that whatever analysis you have made, whatever conclusions, am I audible? Am I audible perfectly? Sukhdev sir has written no sound. Sukhdev sir, am I audible for you? Am I reaching you? Okay. Archana ma'am, Dilip sir, they are saying yes. So no problem with my audio. So find out with what problem the research was initiated and whatever conclusions you are giving, whatever recommendations you are suggesting, whether truly they meet the needs of the decision maker, the needs of your client. If yes, then carry on with the work. Otherwise, there is a need of rethinking about your conclusions as well as suggestions. There is a need for more analysis. There is a need of applying more tests, more techniques, and like that. Findings presented unambiguously. The language has to be clear. Majority of them, few of them don't use such kind of language. I'm using very crude example to make you understand. So see to it that whatever words you are using, there is no dual meaning. There is no just confusion and ambiguity regarding what it means. Proper use of words, proper use of phrases, that is always appreciated. Conclusion justified. Whatever conclusions are making, there has to be enough evidence. On your own, you don't make any conclusion. Give the reference from the data itself. Maybe table reference, maybe percentage reference, maybe correlation reference. So accordingly, your conclusions, they should be truly supported, very strongly being supported by data, by tests, by techniques. Then only they would be acceptable. Researcher's experience reflected. So whatever is the true experience of the researcher, so that has to be reflected, and the reader should get the feeling that this has been done individually by the researcher, and out of own experience, whatever conclusions and suggestions they are given, they are coming directly from the suggestions. So that kind of indication you had to give. Then assessment of relevant existing knowledge, whatever is the assessment you are making, so that has to be perfect with reference to existing knowledge. Then some concepts and some propositions, they are required to be formulated. Already I gave you example in the beginning regarding defining the terms, giving conceptual definitions, giving operational definitions. Already I gave example for that. Then always it is desirable to begin the work with hypothesis. Formulation of hypothesis indicates that you have studied your area uh, and you have some impressions about the topic under study. In case you are working with a totally new area, so you are unaware about the dynamics and you may not be in a position to write the hypothesis. So in a new study, it is accepted even if you go without formulating hypothesis. Anyhow, formulation of hypothesis, that is not a mandatory condition for research work to begin, but it is desirable. It is preferable many situations, because for formulation of hypothesis, at least some work, some homework has to be done, some groundwork has to be done. So definitely that is always beneficial for the good work, good research. When you develop the hypothesis, you are required to develop the plan. You are required to design a research plan so as to test the hypothesis. Directly on the basis of your research plan, thesis should be testable. That has to be ensured. And proper analysis and evaluation of data, that is the requirement. Providing explanation and starting new problems raised by the research. So a good research always is having a list of limitations of the study. Along with that, objective wise, a good research indicates how the objectives are achieved by giving references of table numbers, page numbers, conclusion and suggestion numbers. Explanation is given that objectives, they have been tested properly. Proper justice was given for testing of the achieving of the objectives. Proper justice is given for testing of the hypothesis. That is again indicated in the last chapter. And along with that, the new areas of research, they are again indicated at the end of the study. Whenever you are pursuing your work, number of other unexplored areas also you observe. But at that moment, you cannot give justice for that. But anyhow, for the benefit of the other researcher, you are required to express which are the other such kinds of areas which deserve further investigation. So that is again a feature of good research, indication of future areas of research. Then again, I would like to talk about some aspects of classification of research. Generally, there are various ways through which research can be classified. Like there is basic research. Basic research means basic research adds the organized body of scientific knowledge. Directly, it may not be having practical value. Directly, it may not be having direct utility, practical utility. But anyhow, definitely it is an addition to the body of present existing body of knowledge. That is the basic research. Basic research establishes some theory, whereas applied research means finding out some problems, finding out some solutions for the said problems with the use of the theories. Objectives and focus of both these types of research, they differ. But anyhow, methods and tools of conducting research, there is not much difference. Objectives and focus is different, but methods and tools, they can be common. Basic research process that is common for near about all types of research. We can say some philosophy of research, some characteristic features of the research, they are commonly applicable for all types of research. Some tools and methods, they vary. Longitudinal research requires some other treatment, and cross-sectional research requires some other treatment. But the research process is the same. So That is to be understood. Applied research is undertaken to solve an immediate practical problem. And for addition to the basic body of knowledge, basic research is conducted. Applied research investigates a specific problem and finds out a particular kind of solution. For finding out solutions, it applies various theories, it applies various principles. So this is how there is basic research and there is applied research. Basic research means unique investigation for advancement of knowledge, whereas applied research means utilization of research in actual practice. On the basis of objectives of the research, there are two categories: fundamental research and action research. Fundamental research is just like basic research. In general, addition to the existing body of knowledge, whereas action research means immediate, some kind of action is required for the sake of betterment of the situation. On the basis of approach of the research, there are two types: longitudinal research and cross-sectional research. Longitudinal research involves studying the same group of individuals or subjects over an extended period. It spans over years or sometimes decades also. Such kinds of longitudinal research is carried on for tracking changes and patterns in the characteristic features or in the behavior patterns. Whereas cross-sectional studies, they deal with collecting data from individuals at a single point in time. Longitudinal studies, they are helpful for understanding how things evolve over time and for exploring cause and effect kind of relationships. So different aspects are there with reference to these both kinds of research. Longitudinal studies, they are conducted with the help of panel studies, with the help of cohort studies, with the help of retrospective kind of studies. So some dimensions, as I said, they are the same, and some dimensions, they are totally different. On the basis of precision in research finding, there are experimental design and there is non-experimental research. Experimental research is supposed to be precise, whereas non-experimental research, that is non-precise. On the basis of nature of findings, there is exploratory research and there is descriptive research. Exploratory research, it deals with, it is for in the initial phase of this work. Sometimes even for conducting descriptive research, even for conducting causal research, initial analytical research, we can say, exploratory research is conducted at the beginning. Extremely new area in case you are working. You don't know anything of that kind. No work has been done until yet. In that case, even if your research belongs to any other type of research, initially you begin with your efforts with exploratory research. Get some information about that and then pursue your work with the intended kind of research later on. So in general, exploratory research is about theories, laws, principles, whereas descriptive research concerns with facts. Fact-finding inquiries of different kinds, they are conducted with the descriptive research. As the name indicates, description about the phenomena or the event or the individual features as and when you observe them. So in this manner, in different books, you will find different classifications of research. Like there is an ad hoc research. Ad hoc research means for a special purpose, all of a sudden, you require investigation of an activity. That is ad hoc research. All of a sudden, there is a need for a purpose and you carry on the inquiry. There is empirical research. Empirical research depends upon experience or observation of phenomena as well as events. Then there is explained research. Explained research talks about a theory. It is based on a theory. Some theory is to be established, popularized, and for that purpose, explained research that is conducted. Then there is qualitative research and quantitative research. Qualitative research, it refers to the studies that exclusively or mostly employ research method that are expected to elicit qualitative research information. When we talk about qualitative research, we use the term information. Whereas when we deal with quantitative research, we talk about the term data. Information refers to detailed and descriptive understanding of cultural as well as social practices, whereas data means numerically significant and repetitive patterns. Quantitative research deals with surveys, content analysis, analysis of recorded data. It deals with observation. Quantitative research also is associated with experimental research also. Whereas qualitative research is conducted with the help of case study, in-depth interviews, focus group interviews, observations, ethnography, and like that. So features of both these kinds, they are different. It depends upon the your purpose and your requirement at a particular point in time. With reference to when we are required to compare qualitative as well as quantitative research, in terms of strengths, qualitative research is rich, it is flexible, it is more human, it is suited to understanding of sensitive issues, whereas quantitative research is more precise, it is having generalizability, it is high on in terms of reliability, it is more standardized, and it is time efficient. In terms of weaknesses, qualitative research is subjective, it is having poor generalizability, it is time consuming, whereas in case of quantitative research, there is a possibility of different errors. It may be artificial. There is a possibility of investigator bias. There is a possibility of low public cooperation. There is a need of a sample frame. Otherwise, it is not possible to continue the work. So this is how different kind of situations are there, and accordingly you are required to make choice of a particular kind of research method. There is a terminology like analytical research also. Generally, many of the times we observe exploratory research and conclusive research, and then conclusive research may be descriptive, it may be experimental. Different disciplines, different categories are there. So accordingly, you are required to be aware about all such kinds of practices, then it would be possible for you to make up the correct choice. There are, again, regarding research approaches, we had to decide the extent to which a researcher is clear about theory at the beginning. There is a deductive approach as well as there is inductive approach. Deductive approach means developing a theory in the beginning, developing hypothesis, and design the research strategy in such a manner so as to test the hypothesis. Inductive approach is extremely opposite. In the inductive approach, researcher collects data and then analyzes data and then develops the theory. So it is up to the researcher to make a decision regarding the level, regarding the approach, and regarding the different classifications. Then another issue is dealing with research process. So research process begins with problem definition. After problem definition, formulation of hypothesis is there. In the light of problem definition and formulation of hypothesis, research design is indicated. Research design comprises of sampling plans. It comprises of data collection method. It comprises of a plan of collecting data and like that. Then after development of the research design, how the things they would be measured. There is a decision on that. After decision about the measurement techniques and tools, after a choice of techniques and tools of measurement as well as analysis, actual data collection begins. Then what kind of care is to be taken for field work? What are the gaps in field work? How to take care of that? The entire dynamics has to be studied. Which data collection method is to be used? Single or more than one method in combination has to be applied for proper data collection. Different methods are there. Data may be primary data, may be secondary data, may be commercial. So there are different methods of each type for collection of each type of data. So a researcher has to be well versed with different types of data as well as different methods of data collection. And then data analysis. After collection of the data, editing, coding, tabulation, classification, all these activities, they are carried on. And on that basis, whatever data is collected, a researcher finds out, is there some kind of meaning attached among different variables under study. So with that angle, with the help of different techniques and tools, with the help of different methodologies, analysis of data that is carried on, and thereafter, there is a, after completion of the activity, the possibility of generalization that is tapped, and accordingly, if systematic and scientific procedure is adopted in an objective manner, then definitely the generalization that is carried on. Then few aspects about research design, research ethics. So regarding research ethics, it has become very much meaningful for the sake of meaningful as well as effective research. Some guidelines are suggested for following ethics, but each researcher definitely is responsible for with ethical issues within an investigation. It is not possible to provide an ethical checklist that covers all questions, all issues, all settings, all concerns. It is not at all possible. But anyhow, it is helpful for understanding different research situations that may be encountered. Some guidelines are relatively firm, whereas in following ethics, definitely what is required is knowledge of the researcher and circumstances of the researcher and judgment of the researcher, intelligence of the researcher in understanding what is ethical and what is not ethical. Now regarding research ethics, different issues are there regarding ensuring protection of the human participants. Now, which participant to choose? Are they willing to apply? Are they able to apply? Are they authorized to share their information? Is there reason that deliberately they would give you wrong replies? All such kinds of issues, they are supposed to be checked. At the other side of the situation, privacy of the replies, it has to be ensured, it is to be seen that informed consent has to be received from the respondents for taking part in the research work. And they should be given protection from any kind of harm, because some issues, they are sensitive, they involve some kind of debate or controversy. So participant, they should be protected from all such kinds of harmful effects in terms of controversy, in terms of various kinds of debates and ill consequences as a result of sharing their true revelations in terms of activities. Now again, there is a need to pay attention for the plagiarism issue as such. So nowadays it has become very much serious issue, and penalty also is imposed. Uh, People at the high level, again, they are observed being caught in such kinds of plagiarism kind of aspects. So definitely there is a need for being very much particular regarding all such kinds of aspects regarding plagiarism. With that, I'm coming to the last point. Few minutes they are left. Within that, as I told you in the beginning, there are some AI wizards which are available for the researchers. And definitely, in case the help is available, a researcher must make an intelligent use of all such kinds of facilities, resources they are available at this moment. Because long back when we used to do research, no such facilities they were available. Just imagine those days in which even no computers were available for typing. Manual typewriters were there. Even if one alphabet is missing or one mistake is there, maybe regarding dot or regarding comma, entire page was wasted, and again every entire page has to be retyped. Just imagine those days. Then for literature survey, again, physically also you are required to move from place to place, and you are required to spend endless hours in dealing with that. Now we are facing many conveniences with reference to research. We are having a number of indexes available. We are having number of databases available with us. We are having number of databases like Shodhganga and all that, wherein just ethically we are required to share many details of information, many masterpieces of research without any hassle. They are accessible for us. So on similar lines, nowadays, AI also is proving very, very effective in getting the use in various kinds of research steps as such. So you must be in a position to know about that and make an intelligent and smart use of all such kinds of aspects. Like AI is simulation of human intelligence, which have been intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. We perceive AI as ability of the computers to think and to learn. So this AI, it helps humans focus on tasks which require human abilities. So literally, it may not be possible to remember so many things, to know about so many concepts and theories. In that situation, number of shortcuts we can observe with the help of AI wizards. It increases efficiency, it improves accuracy, as well as it enhances personalization also. So some assistance is provided with reference to informative, engaging, and well-written articles as well as reports. AI bots that is available, that those are the computer program, they can simulate human conversation. They provide automated assistance, chat GPT, Bing, Bard, such kind of tools they are available. They are very much helpful for that. Regarding literature search, again, you can get the help of AI wizards like Litmaps, Elicit, Insightful, Research Rabbit. So very easily you can get help of all such kinds of aspects. Again, uh, a number of tools are available, number of such kinds of resources they are available for summarizing. Literature survey, you are required to summarize whatever you have understood regarding a book, regarding a research dissertation. So Scholar C, then again Unreadable, Paper Brain, Size Space, Chat PDF. So these are few representative names which would be helping with reference to summarize functions. In addition to that, with reference to qualitative data collection and analysis, again, you can get the help of OTR, wherein it transcribes conversations during meetings. Real-time data collection and visualization, MACPI is available. So with reference to data collection, I'm just indicating few names. Many such kinds of facilities, they are available. Don't hesitate to use all such kinds of resources for the sake of improving quality of your research. For data analysis also, Python is available, Atlas is available, then R is available. Some of these tools, they are well known, whereas some of these tools, maybe you are unaware. Try to make an effort so as to be aware about all such kinds of resources. Thereby, you would be facilitated in improving your quality of the work in a far better way. For paraphrasing, Grammarly, Option, Trinka, WordTune, they are available. With the help of Grammarly, definitely you can just enhance the quality of your research. For writing purposes also, Jenny is available, Writeful, Letterall, these are available. So for writing work also, you can seek help from them. At this moment, many of us, they are very freely, they make the use of tool like ChatGPT. Along with that, others also are equally effective or more effective than that. So we should not hesitate in getting regarding illustrations. For creating graphics presentation, applications like Canva, they are available. Then again, number of plagiarism tools also, they are available for the sake of detecting AI content like Writer, like GPT-0, like Writeful, like Plagibot. So uh, collect information about them, learn how to utilize those, and accordingly enjoy your research work and provide help to the others also out of your research work. So uh, tried my best so as to share whatever I knew, whatever I think appropriate for the sake of sharing with you. In case you have something to share with me, I'm very much eager to know from you regarding whatever you liked and whatever was I missed in including. So a lot of thank yous I'm seeing in the chat box. And some comments like nice presentation, nice session like that. So shall I end the session? And how to create awareness about Vrunda Joshi ma'am is asking how to create awareness about research attitude in UG students. Number of ways are there so as to just invoke their research aptitude. An interesting research paper put in front of them. Read it, make them read it, and accordingly get their opinion regarding how it was and what kind of interest they take. Or maybe otherwise make some groups, give each group one paper and make them analyze it, make them talk about that paper, what they liked about that, what they understood, what they had not understood. So this is one of the ways through which you can develop that aptitude among them. And always, as I say, teacher, they are like, they are, teachers are role model for the students. So in case you publish a paper, tell them, give them the journal, give them access to your just magazine and make them read. So definitely they would be following the footstep of the teachers in that manner. Thanks, Bhagat sir, for your nice words. Thanks, Kore sir, Amjad sir. Thanks, Pulchan sir. Shall I take your leave? Thank you.